Infamously speaking with another episode. Man, we're cooking. We're cooking. If this
We're
was
cooking.
NBA Jam, we're not even heating up. We're on fire.
You know
This
what's
is what we
crazy?
do.
And for those who don't know, I usually sound stuffy anyways, but I'm actually under the weather. I got my cough drops, got my Gatorade, no whiskey, no cigars today. But I told Matt, and you know, Matt is pretty uh he's pretty good with like understanding if I'm fucked up, because sometimes I just be out of it. But I was like, no, let's get it. Let's get it. I'm committed. We said we was gonna do 40 episodes. I'm out here. I don't care.
He's
Rains.
trying to get them all done in the first quarter so he can relax. Other than last
Yeah,
9 months of the year.
It's like
I respect it.
observations.
I get it. I respect it. I respect it. Listen, I wanted to call. I see you wearing a Washington Commanders cap.
Yeah, man.
Hold on, not
You
even.
know-
Hold on, not even. This is actually a fire crossover because that looks like the national W. That looks like the curly W with
Yup.
the old Redskin / Commander feather paying tribute
Yup.
to the natives. That's a fire
Yeah.
hat.
So I appreciate it. If you look at last week's episode, even that Phillies hat I had on, it's the baseball Phillies with the eagle on it. So
Yep.
shout out to No Magic. They created some fire hats, and I got a bunch of them. I got some heat that I didn't even bring out yet. But shout out to them. Yeah, man. You know I gotta represent. And for those who wanna hate, I ordered this hat before these guys went and beat the Lions. So I'm a Jaden Daniels believer, man.
No, listen. People that faithfully listen to the pod know this. They know what it's about. They know that W, like you said, W stands for winners. And shout out to our guy Gmo, Live by Sports Agility. He was on the pod last episode, repping his Philadelphia Eagles. And you had to keep it real with him. You had to tell him that it's gonna be a disappointing Sunday for him. So
Yeah.
but man, I'm excited to jump into it. I'm excited to get after it. Because I wanted to talk about something because we talked about on the last show, obviously the big championship weekend. Chiefs, Bills at Chiefs, Commanders at Eagles. And everybody wants to talk Bills, Chiefs, Bills, Chiefs, Bills, Chiefs. That shit is boring. That's like Patriots, Colts, right? We don't talk about that. We'll see that a bunch of other times. We want to talk about the Commanders right now. And I want to ask you, as somebody who's been following the team for a long time, somebody that got to live through the entire Patriots dynasty. So when they won that first time in, was it 01? Was it 01 the first one?
01.
01 when they beat the Rams?
Yep.
Where you got to see that up and coming team, right? Where no one thought they had a shot to win any of the games, really. Do you think that, because we hear it all the time, especially in basketball, where like teams they go through these stages of progression where, you know, they might have a terrible season, then they'll turn it around, but not make the postseason. Then the next year they get bounced early. Second year they go a little bit deeper, and then the next year is maybe finally when they break through. Do you think that like losing is a prerequisite to winning in football? Do you think a team like Washington, before they'll hit the pinnacle, do they need the experience of
No.
a crushing playoff defeat like Philly had in the Super Bowl when they played the Chiefs?
No. I think the norm is that's what the cycle is. I think it's just different with Jaden Daniels, to be quite honest. I was we talked about this, and it's funny because I wanna talk a little bit more about what I heard today. So we talked about how the success of these new rookie quarterbacks and what kind of pressure it's going to bring with the new rookie quarterbacks like Shador and Cam Ward, right?
Mhm.
And I was listening to a mock draft, and it was like, you know, there's a really good chance Shador still goes to the Giants, and it was like, well, then they brought up Jaden, and it was like, if you think Shador is gonna have a season where it's similar to Jaden Daniels, you probably lost your mind, because it's one of a kind.
Outlier.
Yeah, and it's something special that we should just be enjoying. So to answer your question, I don't think they need the loss to go further, if that's what you was really asking, right?
Yeah.
In fact, um, I think it will. I think it helps with anything, right? Because we don't take L's. Like I always say, I don't like to. I don't say I take L's. I take lessons. Well, L is a lesson, not a loss.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so if you're taking a lesson from a loss, then yes, I think that helps. But I don't think it's necessary. Especially in this case, because I got Washington winning the whole thing. But I thought about it. No, I really analytically
Insane,
thought about
bro.
it. I
Insane.
really thought about it,
I
and
don't
then
hate it. I just don't agree with it. That's it. I would love it. I would love, even as a Giants fan, I would love it. Just because you said
yeah,
it hasn't happened. It's
yeah,
historic. It would be
yeah,
historic, and
it
it'd probably be
would.
the chance to stop the three-peat. I'd be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be
I'd
crazy.
be crazy.
Um, you know what I was thinking, because that's a valid question, and we talked about it on the pod where I want Lamar Jackson to win the Super Bowl. Like I'm rooting for him to win the Super Bowl. Where do they go now?
I don't know where Baltimore goes from here because I think you look at it. The key, Zay Flowers didn't play, right? So you're like health, but you're not, even though Lamar had a crazy passing season, your game is really predicated on running the ball. And Buffalo looked like the more physical team when I was watching it back because we were recording, so I didn't get to catch a majority of the game. Buffalo looked like the team that was more dominant to me. And so, but then Buffalo, they're not going anywhere. Kansas City's not going anywhere. Bo Nix is gonna have another. And I know we laugh, we laughed about what Denver did, but that's a rookie quarterback and they and they won what 10 games this season. And
Yeah,
Justin Herbert another year with horrible. Hopefully they get another weapon aside McConkey. So your AFC is only getting tougher. It's only gonna get tougher. And so yeah, I don't know. I have no idea where they go from there.
yeah. I'm curious. It popped up in my head like, damn. I know a lot of Ravens fans.
Tyreek?
Tyreek would be crazy, but I think Tyreek. I like Tyreek if he goes to the Chargers with McConkey.
That'd be crazy. It's exactly what they need. It's exactly what they need. I did want to ask you this about Washington, in addition to what I asked you earlier. Um, and I think your point is valid, right? I love what you said about L's are for lessons, not losses. Do you think the fact that they're playing Philly benefits them or hurts them in this game as a young team or led by a young player? They got veteran presence with Bobby Wagner. Credit to you. You brought him up a lot. You brought up Eckler a lot. You brought up Ertz. So they got veteran presence, but led by a rookie. So do you think getting the chance to get a third shot at a team is going to help them or hurt them?
That's a valid question. I think that I think ultimately it plays out to be neutral because it's Philly knows them, they know Philly to some degree. I think that it may hurt them a little just because they know what Jaden is capable of doing, especially from last game.
Right.
Giving him the ball with the opportunity, Sky,
The toy.
uh, to come and win the game. No, he's like, why can't I play my toy? Um, so I think it might hurt them a little bit, but not enough to be like they don't have a chance.
Yeah. The way I look at it, I think it actually helps them. And what it
Okay.
reminds me of is the 2007 Giants team when they had to go play Dallas in Dallas in the divisional round, where it's like the team, and especially in Washington's case, they know they can move the ball against them because they did it. Right.
Yeah.
So you have that confidence of like, especially if you're
Confidence.
Jaden
Yeah.
going to that game of like, yeah, well, we know we can do this. Terry's always been a monster against them. So I think almost helps them a little bit. Also, and I hate when people say this. Like Washington has nothing to lose. They're playing with house money. They have the same shit to lose as Philly does. The chance to go to the Super Bowl. Like they
Yeah.
have the same shit. Because I think one thing with football that's so different with other sports is because it's the only major North American sport. I shouldn't say the only major one, but out of the four major American sports, hockey, baseball, basketball, the only playoffs that's not series based. One game and you're done. And so returning is not guaranteed. unless you're the Patriots of the 2000s and 2010s and now the current Chiefs. Other than that, you don't. There's no guarantee that Washington's gonna be back on the stage. We thought Detroit was gonna be here, and Washington
Yeah,
just beat them. So,
yeah.
but I think it's gonna help them because they got the confidence. Like, yeah, we could smack them
No,
up.
that's valid. That's valid. I think I think you're right. I don't understand. Maybe it's because their own line is not good, but I don't understand how they're not defensively prepared to try and stop Saquon. What they can't do is let Saquon get 40, 50-yard touchdown runs, which he's
No,
been doing all year.
that's what
And
killed the
our own
Rams.
line has been playing, right?
They've been
But
balling.
there has been some of the plays, like there was two of them where Saquon, one was a touchdown, the other one was it was a long run, but he only had to go by one guy, and the one guy didn't have an angle on him to
Nope.
tackle him, so it was
Yeah, the
like
safety.
it was
It
a
was a good night.
walkthrough. Yeah, it was all over. So, um, I think they just have to limit those big plays, um, and do what they've been doing all year. I think that's been helpful, which is keep possession of the ball. Right?
Yes.
They're controlling the ball majority of the game with converting on fourth downs,
Yeah.
continuing to
Long
move the
drives.
ball, long drives. So I think that will help and play to their advantage. I there's if I'm not mistaken, Jalen threw a touchdown interception against them last game. There's a play where I see Jaden fall for it twice this year at least, where the linebacker looks like he's gonna blitz and he backs out into the zone coverage underneath, and they pick him off. Hopefully, he's doing. Actually, this is a good segue into something I want to talk about. Is hopefully his training is helping. So people who don't know, Jaden Daniels trains on VR, virtual reality. So and he's been doing that since LSU. Um, so I want to ask: do you think that this is something that more teams should incorporate? What's the benefit of it? And uh, I don't know. I guess ultimately, do you think that more teams should incorporate it? I guess.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And this is something I'm super interested in just because it's kind of what I do at my day job, which is game-based learning. And I think it's so powerful because it's immersive, right? You can replicate scenarios that you really couldn't in the film room or in the practice field. Because they typically don't go full speed at practice. Quarterback's not going to get hit, and stuff like that. So you can make it as real as possible. Like I know a lot of baseball players do that when they're practicing their swing. Just whatever way that you can kind of get live ABs without getting live at bats, if that makes sense. So I think it's extremely powerful. So anytime that you can simulate anything and kind of get a real feel for it and program it, so yeah, they're gonna run this package or even randomize it, right? To be like, you have no clue what they're gonna throw at you, and then you're looking, you got to read it, make your checks or whatever. I think it's dope. Clearly, it's helping him because he's sharp. I think we called it out. Was it on the Jaden's Jungle episode where I was like, what's impressed me most about Washington is the fact that they had like one of the highest at the time, the best third down and fourth down efficiency in the league with a rookie
Yeah,
quarterback. And at
yeah,
one
yeah.
point, they scored on 15 straight drives
Yep,
over a couple
yep,
games. Like, you don't do that in the NFL, period, but not with a rookie. You don't do
yeah,
that. And so clearly, whatever he's doing is working for him. And I think if that's a big part of his routine, we always talk about emulating success. Why wouldn't you want to incorporate that?
yeah. I agree.
Unless you're Deshaun Watson and tear your ACL doing TikTok. Because you seen that?
Yes. Not only
He
did he
didn't tear it,
tear
do
it,
it.
no, he lost 92 million, or he
Yeah,
potentially could lose 92.
yeah. He didn't tear it during TikTok, but it showed that just for people that didn't know, Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Brown quarterback, it's been a nightmare of a trade. The massage merchant himself
Massage
was
merchant is
it's
crazy.
supposed to be in a boot because he just had some he had suffered a
Surgery.
leg injury. right? And he was seen on TikTok doing some kind of dance with no boot on, and then came out that he had torn his ACL again, and so there's a chance that it could void.
Achilles. His
Yeah,
Achilles.
his
But yeah,
Achilles. Sorry, and
yeah.
came out that there's a possibility that they could be out for Cleveland. So
Off he,
social media, man,
off he
don't,
kid.
you don't got to record everything you do.
Off he kid. It wasn't even a good video either.
Nah,
It was a whack video.
wag video.
Whack
Shorty
video
set him
cost
up.
him $92 million,
Shorty set
bro.
him up. Shorty set him up. She works for the Browns. Shorty set him up.
Browns did that. They smart as fuck.
They're like,
But
if you won't let you give him a massage, get him to do a dance.
speaking about the Browns, right? So they have them drafting Travis Hunter and trading back, or trading back and getting somebody else. But it's not a quarterback. They're saying the reason being is Stefanski has success with Cousins, so they're gonna try to go after Cousins.
Well, I don't. I just don't get the experiment with the older quarterback with the Achilles injury. Didn't work with Aaron Rodgers. Didn't work with Kirk last year. Deshaun got hurt. It's not like your offensive line is super dominant. So sure, I guess. But you know what? I saw a report because Tennessee just hired their GM not too long ago, and I saw a report that said that they wouldn't pass up on a generational talent necessarily at first. And who's the generational talent other than Travis Hunter, right? So, I think it would be dumb of them to not draft a quarterback because
No,
Will
they gotta
Levis is
draft a
not the
quarterback,
answer.
bro. They
But
have to draft a quarterback.
that kind of piqued my interest, like him saying like we're not going to pass on a generational talent unless you feel like one of these quarterbacks are, which I don't really foresee that. At least again, just through draft process, not the fact that they won't turn into awesome quarterbacks, but from a prospect standpoint, you don't see that.
If they don't draft a quarterback, they deserve whatever hat they have coming, bro. Because clearly we see what a quarterback can bring to your franchise,
Just saw it.
and we just saw it this year, right?
Oh, we're still seeing it actually. So
We were talking about it. Now, do we expect that? No, but at the end
nope.
of the day, any successful franchise has a good quarterback behind it. You need that stability at that position more than any other position.
Yeah,
Patriots, Brady.
yeah. I mean,
Packers,
e-
Rodgers.
even without the winning, I mean, look at what Tampa is with Baker, playoff team all the time, just good quarterback play, consistent quarterback play. But to your point too, I think even if you don't win away, what drafting a quarterback does for your franchise, just from a morale standpoint. I mean, sure, obviously Washington is the one that everybody looks at, but I mean, now with the hire of Ben Johnson, right, pairing him with Caleb Williams, that just came down today or yesterday that they hired Ben Johnson away from the Lions.
Yeah, I like that.
But even last year when they drafted Caleb, the amount of life that brought into the Bears organization, obviously what Jaden did for Washington, what Drake did for New England, what Bo Nix did for Denver, which at the time people thought that was a crazy pick, but it turned to pan out. What Penix is going to do for Atlanta. So I agree with you. Like if you're a franchise now, like with Tennessee, especially because you're not too far removed from being in the playoffs pretty consistently. I think it's huge. It should be an interesting draft. That's what I'm excited for now, more than even the playoffs, man. Like my team's been out of it for a while, and so it's like, what's gonna happen? I think
Yeah.
the draft really starts at 2, unless Tennessee decides to do something crazy and not take a quarterback. But then it's really hinges on what Cleveland does. Kind of sets up the rest of the draft. So let's talk about the AFC matchup. I was trying to avoid it as much as possible because this is like it's like one of those situations where you're like, man, I'd rather both these teams lose. Kansas City versus Buffalo. It looked like we were heading for that, or Kansas City versus Baltimore in the beginning of the year. Did we say that? Did we say who we had on the show with Gmo?
Yeah. We had the
Did we?
Ravens.
Oh, we did. We had the Ravens, yeah. And
then you had the Chiefs beating the Ravens.
right. Also, I have the Chiefs beating the Bills. Simple and plain.
It's hard to beat 20 men on the field. It
every
really
time.
is. You know
It's
what's
hard.
you know
It's
what's
hard for the
wild?
Bills to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
I've been saying that for so long, and now people are finally catching on because they're seeing these egregious calls, and I'm like,
Yeah, there were some bad ones, man.
I've been talking about this. I don't know where you guys been, but I've been talking about how the zebras have Chiefs logos underneath them. But
Yeah, some of
um,
it's egregious.
I think this is the year Josh Allen overcomes Pat Mahomes in the playoffs. I
Yeah,
think because I think I believe he has the confidence to beat Patrick Mahomes. Just
yeah.
based off of the previous wins in the regular season. I think that helps. He and like I said, that's the psychic guy.
Oz,
The
yeah,
guy,
Oz the mentalist.
yeah. He like I told you, he predicted the Bills, so which I wouldn't want to see. I want the Commanders to win it all.
I don't care what the dude predicts. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just there's just a level of efficiency that they play with, and I don't. Russ aside, they don't make many mistakes, right? It reminds you of a
The
Patriots team
Chiefs,
where, yeah, the Chiefs. It reminds you of the
yeah.
Patriots where it's like you have to beat them. Like you have to beat them.
How
You
many
have to beat them.
turnovers has the Chiefs had this year?
Patrick Mahomes threw a good amount of interceptions this year.
He did. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure, especially at the beginning of the year. He was looking awful.
Yeah, he threw a good amount of interceptions for sure this year. I mean, Buffalo has the best turnover margin per game in the league, actually,
They
plus
were
one point
saying,
four.
yeah, they were saying that, especially because the way they caused the turnovers against the Ravens, how they're an opportunistic
Domestic
defense.
defense. Yeah, you can get them. You can get them, but they'll make a play. But um, I think come playoff time, they just they clean that shit up. Like you really again, like they're not gonna go ahead and beat themselves. They're not gonna hand you extra possessions. They're not gonna make mistakes. And so and even though Josh Allen has kept it under wraps for the most part this year, not trying to go Superman, dude,
Yes,
I always have that feeling like these are the games right here. Every time they play the Chiefs in the playoffs, it's like he goes. Even when they beat him early in the season, he had that crazy run on fourth down where he's running over people. He didn't even need to do it, but like I feel like there's the need. Like I gotta outduel Patrick Mahomes instead of I just gotta beat the Chiefs kind of deal. So
yeah,
um,
that's
I have a
valid.
feeling. I have a feeling it's gonna come up. I have a feeling it's gonna come up.
It looks like he has an ego of that type. But like, I gotta. It's not a win if I just win. You know
Yeah,
what
right, right.
I mean?
But I do think winning if he wins his first Super Bowl, it'll kind of work that out of him because it's like
For sure,
"Hey, I
because I
did
think
it.
that it will show. Yeah, yeah, and let's just say he has a subpar game and they win, which is kind of it doesn't even sound right. But let's just say, but they have been able to run the ball.
Well,
So
I think it's like what you said, and shout out to you for saying this. When Gmo was on the show, we talking about the Eagles. Is you don't want Hurts to cook because it might take away from the run game. You want to lean on the run game. Honestly, I don't think it's outlandish if Josh Allen has a, by his standards, average so-so
yeah,
game and they end up winning, especially if James Cook 20 for 100, Ray Davis, Ty Chandler. I don't think that's that actually that crazy because
yeah,
that means that Josh isn't being Superman. And this is not a discredit to Josh, but he has a lot of Brett Favre's tendencies, right? Where Brett Favre was crazy, could make all the throws, but would make a bad decision because he felt like he could do whatever he wanted on the field. Like I
no,
think
no,
that might be how
uh,
they win.
that's a great point. And like I said, uh, just their running game
Thanks.
has been on point.
I took your point and just used it. I just put Josh
Yeah,
Allen in there
that's
instead
why
of
it was a
Jalen
great
Hurts.
point. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So I mean, I know you want to see the Bills win because you hate the Chiefs, but like,
I
who do
don't
you
hate the
think wins?
Chiefs. I was
You hate the
rooting for the
Chiefs guy.
Chiefs at one point. I just don't want him to win this year for sure.
Because it'll be the one thing that he did that Brady didn't. Is that what it is?
No, that's not why. It's because they're not have to hear about how he's the GOAT now. And
He can't be
it's
the GOAT.
bullshit.
He can't be the GOAT. Because sure, if he three-peats, that's something Brady never did. But Brady got 7 rings, man. Like, and it's not So he's the only person that's ever done that. So you gotta at least sniff that. Like 4 is 4 a lot? Hell yeah, 4 is a lot. But compared to 7, it's not. Compared
Yeah.
to 7, it's not. So
And he'd have to go to another team later on down the line.
that or Andy Reid would have to leave. Andy Reid would have to leave.
Andy Reid ain't go.
Nah, he ain't going nowhere. He's smart. He's smart. And he's not gonna have a falling out with Mahomes like Brady.
I was
with
just about
like
to
Belichick
say,
doing Brady.
yeah. I was just
He has the example right in front of him. Like, why would you don't want to lose your generational all-time great quarterback to some bullshit because your own ego.
yeah.
Like,
His
let's
ego,
not do that.
Fuck. Brady could have had a 3-peat if it wasn't for his ego.
Brady could have probably had like 10 rings.
It's sad.
I mean,
It's not.
I remember it the year that the Broncos won because of all of his decisions to not kick field goals and shit. And I remember he did. He did.
I was livid, bro. Like,
he did.
We're barely moving the ball.
Yeah, that
We
Denver
need a field goal anyway.
That Denver defense was real.
Von Miller was a savage.
Von Miller, they had to keep Talib, yanking people's chains.
Yeah.
Crabtree, him and Crabtree, crazy. Crabtree always
look up what Crabtree's doing right now.
McDonald's fast food drive-through.
I'm curious what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone catch more heat than him. People hated him. People hated Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
Akeem Talib, always yanking his chain, bro.
Yeah,
That's not a crazy pause, but his real chain.
Ooh.
Oh, this guy's done. This guy's coughing like he had an asbestos smoothie.
Yeah, this is bad.
You good?
You know what's worse is like from coughing so much, like my back hurts. I think it's because of like straining my muscles while I'm coughing.
Right.
So I talked to Heather because I was wondering if she had like any motherly remedies, right? So she's good with that. But let me tell you what, talking to Heather is like Googling symptoms. She had me thinking, she's like, Quan, you probably got pneumonia. Oh, you got a fever. You're too old to break a fever now. So you definitely gonna have to do. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I should have just Googled it.
She had you like filling out those forms when you're a new patient at a doctor's office. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's like, there's probably something in your lungs. You got to get that out. You need antibodies and all this. I'm like,
she's like, oh, and you smoke cigars, so now you're at higher risk for all this shit. She's like, what kind of brand? What was that bourbon you drink? Oh shit, that's crazy.
So he's talking about signs, right? I think.
Did she give you anything good? Did she give you any kind of good remedy?
Yeah. Like no, yeah. Like what's it like? Yeah, she did in a way, but ultimately everything seemed fatal. So it didn't really matter. Like
Vicks,
basically
bro.
go to the hospital.
Put on Vicks. That was for all my Dominican, Puerto Rican, just Hispanic friends out there. That's the Hispanic mom cure-all, Vicks. Every time I'm like, Mom, I broke my ankle. She's like, throw some Vicks on that shit. You be good.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time I was feeling shitty, bro. And I don't get sick. I very rarely ever. I don't even remember the last time I was sick. It might have been when I had COVID back in 2020. That might have been the last time I've been sick. And but when I was a kid,
you haven't been sick in 5 years.
That's all glory to God, man. I don't get sick. Very rarely. I might get like a cough.
That's because you're stuck in that room.
Yeah, it has good ventilation.
Stuck in that room.
What are you talking about, man? I go to the office 3 days a week, bro. I'm good, man. I'm good. But I remember I was a kid. I had to be like, I wasn't even that young. I had to be like 13 or 14 or whatever. And so I was feeling terrible. Probably maybe the worst I've ever felt in my life. And when you're a teenager, you exaggerate everything. But looking back, I was definitely dying. Like I felt like I was dying.
Yeah, you was on the Oregon Trail. Snake bite.
I was done. I was fried, bro. I was fried. Like I'm not sure anybody listening, if you had parents that were so strict about school, like it didn't matter what the fuck was going on. It was like the the people have really strong work ethic that are like, I'd rather get sent home than call out kind of deal. Like, let them tell me not to go to work kind of
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
That's how my mom was when it came to school, bro. Like, no, they're gonna send you home. And it was bullshit because my mom would never pick us up. So we'd be stuck, bro. We'd be in the back of the class dying.
Yeah, yeah, no choice. Yeah, yeah.
No, like it was a ploy because she'd be like,
Yeah,
don't tell
yeah.
him to call me. She's like, I'm not answering that shit. I'm not answering that shit.
That's
And my
funny.
and my dad, he works all over the state, so he'd be like 2 hours away. He ain't picking us up.
Yeah.
So you just had to hope that maybe he was working somewhere close. Like, damn, I hope he's working at Mohegan Sun today. Like, come on, I need a blessing. But
Yeah, yeah.
shit was so bad. My mom let me stay home from school, so that was a big deal. Like, I think I missed like throughout my entire academic career outside of when I broke my ankle, I probably missed like 5 days of school. No lie, because my mom
Wow.
was that strict, bro. My mom was that strict with it, and I appreciate it. Those good work ethic.
Yeah, it does.
But
No, that's phenomenal, bro. I missed
it's
5 days my first week.
yeah, but that's because you're a fucking truant, badass kid, bro. Different reasons. And so I was fucking dying, man. And so my mom was like she's like, I'm gonna put you on game. She's like, you take Vicks and you rub it on the bottom of your feet before you go to bed. Some shit. It's like I guess some people like put like onions on the bottom of their feet, like absorb the
Don't tell me that
toxins.
work, bro. That's tell me in a
Nah,
dream.
it did not
So when
work.
I wake up, I got Scooby fur all over my feet because I got Vicks on them.
Bro, I put the Vicks on the bottom of my feet and then I go to sleep, right? Then I wake up, gotta take a piss in the middle of the night. Bro, so but I get up
Yeah.
and what? What?
Nah, I could.
So
I just pictured you waking up to go to the bathroom in the middle of your sleep and you just busting your ass because you got Vicks
nah,
all over.
so bro, that's the shit though. So I get up and we have these vinyl plank floors, kind of like, imitation wood or whatever deal, flooring. And so I get up, I go to the bathroom, like it's a little slippery, but I'm like, it's been like 5, 6 hours since I put this shit in. You think like when you put it on your chest, it doesn't stay there for that long. So when
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
getting up, cool, whatever, it's a little slippery. So I'm walking kind of like I'm walking on ice, real slow, taking it easy, whatever. Bro, I get back into my bed and like I roll over and my foot brushes the bottom of one of my other feet. And that shit is wild dirty, son. Wild dirty. My shit was like a fucking magnet, bro.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm like, what the? So I get up. I gotta take a shower at this point. My feet are fucking filthy. I gotta take a shower.
Yeah. And you
And
can't just wipe it off.
right, I can't just wipe it off. You gotta let that shit soak. Take
Yeah, yeah.
soap. I'm by my feet looking like
Yeah.
raisins. I'm at a point where I'm wiping feet so much that fucking I'm peeling off layers of skin. Shit is
Yeah, yeah.
bad, bro. I'm
That's
dying. I'm
crazy.
dying. I'm dying. It wasn't that bad, but it felt like it. And so then the next morning I talk to my mom. I'm like, Mom, why'd you tell me to do that? That shit was the worst thing ever. I'm like, that shit was terrible. Awful.
What
And
did
she
she
just
say?
laughing. She was just laughing.
I'm surprised she wasn't like, Matt, go to school.
I had to go to school. I started to go to school.
No,
Laughing.
you said she said she let you stay
Yeah,
home.
that day she let me stay home because that night she was like, put the Vicks on your feet. And so she's laughing for like 5 minutes. And she was like, you're supposed to put socks on. And I'm like, what? I'm like, why you tell me to put socks on?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
She's like, you're supposed to put socks on, let that lock to like it like number one keeps your feet clean, but two, like I guess it like pushes like the Vicks like into your feet or whatever. And I'm like, this is
Do you think that
bullshit.
works?
Hell no, I don't think it works. I don't think it works. I think it's like a placebo. Like it's something that you're doing that makes you feel better. So
Yeah,
like in your mind, maybe you're feeling a little bit better than you did,
yeah,
but I was aggravated because it was at that point. It was like 3 a.m. when I had to do that, and so like when you wake up in the middle of the night from and you're sleeping good, but you got pissed. You get up, so you like peeing, like your eyes kind of still closed because you're trying to stay tired. That was me, like this, trying to
yeah,
stay sleepy. And then when I roll over, and the bottom of my foot feels like a fucking other side of a scrub daddy, where it's all rough and shit. I was like,
yeah. That.
what the
So I've been
what
waking
the
up a lot
fuck?
to take a piss in the middle of the night.
You
Could
drink
be
a lot of
like
fluids.
well, yeah, especially because I've been sick. I've been drinking a lot of fluids. So Like even last night, I woke up like 5 times. Nah, what was that? Probably like 3 or 4 times. I woke up to take a piss. But mind you, I did sleep a lot. So like, I forgot what time I went to bed, but it was early. And every time I woke up, I was like, I would look at the clock, and it was like, damn, it's only this time. It felt like it was like I was asleep for eternity. So it was like when it was 11 o'clock, I thought it was like 4 in the morning, but it wasn't. And you know, and you know what my problem is too. So I, especially when I got like a fever, because I felt like I got a fever because I was so hot, but I was freezing. I I love taking baths, but I don't in my house I don't have a bath, so I gotta take a shower. The last time I was sick, which was unfortunately like 2 weeks ago, I took like 30 showers, bro, in like a span of 2 or 3 days. So I was like, damn. But that's some of the advice that not only Hitler but other people gave me before, which is you shouldn't take a hot shower if you have a fever. But I'm freezing. Like I need to get warm.
Hell
Like
yeah.
I'm freezing. So I'm like, fuck it. So 4 in the morning, I'm taking a hot ass shower, trying to fucking kick this cold.
Yeah, especially if you want to
Yo,
go back to bed. That cold shower wake your ass right up.
yeah, I didn't take a cold shower.
No, I'm saying like if like when you're not feeling good and you know you're gonna go back to bed, but sometimes like
Yeah,
that helps. Like you take a shower because you're cold, or like if you're really stuffy and the steam from the shower
yeah,
helps, right?
yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of ease the congestion. But if you're tired of shit, you don't want to take a cold shower. Cold shower gonna wake your ass right up, and you can be live, and you don't want
yeah,
to be. You want to be slumped. So
yeah.
I don't listen to that
Fucking,
shit, man. Fuck it, bro.
but like I've been sweating it. I've been sweating it out, right? Because so I don't know if you know, but it's been fucking like -7 degrees over here.
My dad's been telling me, man. He's out there in the mud.
Yeah, so it's been fucking brick. So I got all these space heaters on top of the heat because I don't want the damn pipes to break. One, and two, I'm just trying to stay warm. So the space heater in my room makes it really fucking hot because it's a smaller room for the space heater. So I'll be waking up hot as fuck, hot as fuck. And I didn't think about it till this morning. I was like, damn, Scooby must be like in. I woke up. This guy's on the floor near the door, like like he was trying to escape and he got
He's
stuck. Like,
dead. He's dead.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, yo, this guy's crazy. But the floor is probably cool and shit. You know what I mean? Oh, damn. Where's my story going with this shit? Oh, so I've been sweating it out.
Scooby Raisin in the Sun.
This dude today, he was like, yo, Quan, you sweating like crazy. And you know, I don't sweat like that. Even when we used to go to the gym, I didn't sweat like that.
That's crazy.
So,
I wouldn't let another guy say that to me like that.
no, but the funny shit was like, yo, did you take a Percocet? I'm like, yo, what? But I was like, yo, that shit is funny as fuck because I was sweating
Nah, who
profusely.
said that? Who said that?
I'll tell you.
Nah, who said that? What's terrible is why is that their first thought? And what does it say about them, or what does it say about you? Is it more of a them thing, or is it more of a you thing that that's where their mind
So
went?
it can't be a me thing because I never took a Percocet like that. I can think of, especially for recreational activity. Like who does that? I don't even like taking
A
fucking
ton of people
pain
do.
medicine when I have my knee surgery. So yeah,
This guy is the guy that follows all the advisements on the label and listens to the commercials and all the adverse side effects that medicine can have.
yo, you
He's
know
like,
what I was
I'm,
thinking? You
he's
know
like, I
how
won't operate heavy machinery when taking this.
nah, it's not that. So you know how they be like, oh, why would I take that pill or that medicine if it gives me all these side effects? You know, a lot of people say that, right?
Right.
Like, why would I take that if it gives me this, and this? I said to myself, I already have this, and this, and this for those side effects. It's like, what the fuck?
He's like, anxiety. I already have that.
Yeah,
So might as well.
diarrhea. Wow, depression.
You know it's crazy because every time that shit comes up, no one will say that. You know, she'll be like, damn, like why even take it at that point? She's like, I was like, I don't know. I was like, HIV or a headache? I mean, I was like,
Yo. I just seen a video. Now I don't know how true this video is because the guy talking, he doesn't look like a reliable source, right? But I think it was like 800 and something thousand people got HIV in DR right now. You brought up HIV, so it reminded me of the
I'm
video.
just.
So
Is that
from what?
is that a lot compared to their population? I don't know how. Like, what's the
Yeah, hell
population?
yeah, that's a lot, and that's new cases, I guess, from this year.
That's crazy.
And going to DR for people is it usually relates to promiscuous activity because you could catch a body for like $40.
You could do that here.
For $40, bro? You kidding me?
I mean, you're not. I'm sure
Inflation is wild.
I'm sure what you get in DR is much nicer for 40, but actually, I can.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
I'm
do
just
it,
saying.
but
So that makes it scary, right?
back
One, you
page is
got people.
crazy.
You got people going from all over the country. Yo, this is gonna be a great. These are where the clips are gonna come in. So, yo, you got people coming from all over the country to go take something down in DR for $40, right? Oh, clearly they're not wrapping up. That's crazy in itself. Then you got people like my brother. Shout out to Adam, man. Yo, the funniest shit ever. Adam hits me up. He went to DR.
Oh boy.
So you already know what type of time he's on. This motherfucker books a couples retreat though. So where he goes is all couples. it's all couples.
He's a couple. Him in his hand.
So he ended up wilding out, but he's a wild dude.
I can imagine him though, just getting there like, yo, what the fuck is this?
You know what I mean? Here's another. No, he was like, "What am I? They won't let me bring her on." I was like, "Yeah, why would they let you bring her on to the resort?" And he's like, "I gotta sneak her on." I'm like, "This guy, he's out of control." But
nah, you don't want to get caught up in a country. See, that's how people end up on them on those fucking milk cartons.
yeah,
Like that's how you don't come home, man.
yeah.
That's how you don't come home. You don't want to fuck around in a different country, bro. Like that. Like how? Absolutely not. Like I would rather.
So
Even when I go to Canada, I'm like, I tell my wife, I'm like, if I'm gonna get arrested, as bad as we've seen that sometimes the police treat colored people here in America, I'd still rather get arrested in America than in another country.
yeah,
100%. At least I'm a
yeah,
citizen. Even if they might not
yeah,
treat me like one, at least I'm a citizen. You know what I mean? Over
yeah,
there, who knows what the fuck they gonna do?
yeah.
Who knows the hell you gonna do? DR? I ain't sneaking nobody on, man.
Oh no, you fried.
You fried, bro.
I heard a bunch of stories in DR with the police shaking people down for some bread. Yo,
Yep.
but
They gonna link
so
you with
here's
somebody
another
that they
thing.
know has HIV.
Yeah. So here's another thing, right? So like I said, the source that I seen the video from, I'm not. He didn't look like the most reliable source, so that could be fake news.
What was it? The CDC?
Nah, it was
Oh, that's
some
crazy.
random guy. But we Gmo's infamous for this. He'll see something and he'll share it with the group like instantaneously.
No fact checking.
No fact checking at all. Like, I remember one time one of the sites that he got his news from was wild. Like, bro, look at the domain that you took this from, bro. Like, there's no way this is real. So he had posted something too about like this. It was a 78-year-old serial killer in New London, and one of the other dudes in the chat was like, "Bro, that's fake news. That page already got called out for and shit." So, the reason why I bring that up is because I was telling him. Oh, the other thing, I don't know if you heard this, right? They was talking about child support. And if you have a baby,
Boy.
and a daughter can't. Excuse me, the daughter. The mom, if the mom puts you on child support, she can't claim the taxes. So that had gone up, and Everybody in the chat was going crazy talking about that, like for days. And it came out today. The guy who initially said that video was like, "Yo, I was just sitting in my car and kind of made that shit up. Like, I'm sorry." But that shit went viral. It had like 13 million views. On top of people using his voiceover and all that shit. Again, I would like I told. I said, "Yo, you guys can't believe everything you see on the internet, bro. Unless it's from
That would be
infamous
fire.
speaking, you can't believe everything you hear."
No, we're fucking definitely promoting propaganda shit on there, bro. Tell
So
them to come with that news. And we're about it, bro. No taxes, bro. This 2024 tax free year. 2025, I mean, tax free.
speaking of which, I
Fuck
need
it.
to do my taxes. My electric bill is crazy because of space heaters.
I was having a conversation with my dad yesterday. He got super passionate because he's super passionate about it, and he's more of like the. And I'm curious what your take on this is because uh, he's like, it's hard for people who didn't grow up in a situation like that to be qualified. I guess qualified is not the right word. That's what he uses, but it's like to really understand that struggle of like the month to month kind of just day by day trying to make it by to have instead of having like these long term kind of goals set because we talk about that long term vision all the time on the show. And sometimes I feel like maybe we don't represent the people that are kind of like in that day to day. You know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to make it till tomorrow type shit. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I mean, um, from what you shared on the show about your childhood, it seemed like it was very much of that, just trying to make it till tomorrow. And now you're in a position where you're like, I could have these long spanning goals of home ownership, which you've accomplished, or in 3 years, I want to do this. What had to change about your mentality to get you from I gotta live to see tomorrow to be like, nah, I got shit planned 5 years from now. I want to do this by the end of this year, 3 years, 5 years type shit. Instead of saying it's Wednesday, I just gotta make it a Thursday. You know what I mean? What had to change the mindset wise?
Honestly, I don't think it changes a lot. I'll give you an example. So even to this day, sometimes I'm like, "Yo, I got to get through this." Because I something may pop up, right? Like the electric bill, whatever the case may go. Just knowing that, I think mentally is like you have to, right? You can't just fucking give up. That's why. Two, you got people that rely on you, like my daughter. So when it comes to that, that's like the motivation within itself. I'm not gonna let that. I can't fail for that. Or at least I'll get it or die trying, like 50. You know what I mean? Like, for the
Right.
mentality of thinking long term, I think that, uh, in all honesty, I think a stable career has helped me understand long term goals and how
Mm,
to plan for those. A lot of people get caught up when they get these jobs and they're in and out. Even me, I remember when I first got hired, I thought I was gonna be there 3 months max. I was young too, so it was like, I didn't really know if that's what I wanted to do, but um understanding that you have to put in the work to get results helped me a lot. And I know that, especially because I enjoy it too. So putting in the work is not a problem to me. In fact, I enjoy it. So it's like I know that the things that I'm planning for, right, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the line, I'll be able to achieve it somehow, some way. Um, and then once it happens, right? Because this isn't like it shouldn't be a one time thing. But once it happens, it's almost like you talked about earlier with the with the Commanders and Eagles. Like you get that confidence. Like, okay, I could do this. Let me plan for something else. At times I lost, but I really didn't lose because I took the lesson from it. Right.
right.
So um, and I love sharing my experiences. So not only do I take a lesson from it, I try to share that lesson. We
Right.
talked about it before. Shout out to Raph for like Raph was like a younger version of me when he when we met each other, and he's blowing all his money on like the club and all kinds of stupid shit. And I gave him some advice, and I don't want to take any credit from it. He made the decisions that he made, but I did give him advice like, "Yo, bro, stop wasting your money now and start investing in your future. Like, you should be buying a house. Your credit is good. You're making good money." And that's what he did, right? So at a young age, so for him to do that and knowing that I did play a little part in it, um,
Yeah.
to me that was like it's almost similar to the advice I'm giving now, where it's like, yo, you can change. You just have to have the mentality or have the support or the guidance. Sometimes he didn't have that. I'm not saying his parents, because his parents are very good people. Uh, they work hard and they got a lot of stuff going for them as well. So I'm not trying to take that. Sometimes as a child or as a kid, you don't look
Yeah.
at your parent as the advice.
Right.
You look at.
Right.
So he probably saw me as someone he's more relatable to. And was like, yo, he got a point. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, yeah, man. I think the mentality. To me, the mentality don't change as far as day to day because you still gotta get to the next day. So I think about that at times. I'm not gonna lie. But overall, I know what I want long term, and I'll set a goal of what I want and how I'm gonna get it.
Sharing your experience is huge because I think to your point, there's not many people, and it's sad to when we say it, but there's not many people like that. There's not many people like you, right? A lot of people do. The majority would be like, "Damn, this is the card I was dealt. I kind of just got to deal with it." Instead of saying, "You know what? Nah." I mean, I forgot who said it. I'm gonna put an ace out the deck instead of just messing around with a bunch of twos. You know what I mean? I'm not. There's an ace in this deck somewhere. I'm just gonna have to work to find it, kind of deal.
Yeah,
And that's kind of what you did. So I think it's refreshing hearing that point of view because the way I look at it is, and I think I said this on the show before, which is, it helps when it's much harder to pave your own road or pave your own path than it is to follow, obviously drive on the paved road. And so, you know, I had the opportunity to really drive on a paved road a majority of my life, right? My parents did a lot of the paving in front of me. They're the ones that went through this. I didn't have the same upbringing as them. And that's a credit to them for realizing what their situation was and saying, there got to be something better than this, right? And not falling into that cycle like a lot of people around them did. And what I was telling, to kind of bring it full circle, what I was telling my dad is, and I think I said this on the show before too, is I feel and I think people that come after you, that get the chance to interact with you, or people like my dad, people that kind of really had to pave their own road, is I feel an amount of pressure on myself because if I see you and you show me that it's possible, and I see my dad and my mom and they show me that it's possible, then what's my excuse? I don't got one. The road's already there to go from A to B. The road's there. The blueprint is there. So at that
yeah,
point, if I don't build the house, it's because I made the choice to not build it. It's not because I didn't
yeah.
have the tools necessary to build it. It's not that I have the blueprint. Everything was right in front of me. And
Yeah,
so, I'm interested to hear from your perspective now being a dad, like because you have a child's going to be an adult or already pretty much is one. But do you hope that she kind of looks at you and says, wow, my dad did it and my dad had to do with less. So like kind of have that same motivation where it's like, I'm going to be successful no matter what. Because I started in a position that might have been better or was better.
trying to collect myself. Um, I would love that. I think Nove, because Nove actually has it pretty good. Uh, you know, as compared to like what we had or what I had
Hmm.
growing up, right? So that's a valid point, and I never really brought that up to her. I know her mom has, especially when it comes to like support in school, right? Because
Hmm.
we've always been supportive of her in school, making sure that she gets the right attention that she needs. teachers ain't fucking with her, uh, students ain't fucking with her. So like she's always had that support, and we reminded her in that way where it's like, we didn't have that. Like my mom didn't talk about college. She didn't even talk military. She she was like, I don't know why she going no military. She's the one who told me not to vote because they'll register me to go to the damn military. Um, that's a conversation I think I'm gonna bring up to Nova actually, because that's a good point. Where I just want her to understand. I think that also for you, because while you was telling me your testimony, it's not easy, right? It might be easier in the sense of you know the path because it worked for your mom and dad, but their path doesn't necessarily mean will work for you. That's
Mm.
and when you do feel that pressure, it's a good sense of not everybody's gonna have that mentality of you like, yo, I don't got an excuse. More theirs is more like I got something to fall back on. And I say that because I know a lot of people, some cousins, I know some friends who they grew up in a better situation, mom, dad, stable home, probably I would say wealthy, but they're probably like what do you call it? The mid range?
Middle class.
Middle class, yeah.
Yeah.
And they ended up doing all the craziest shit ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like and that's the path they chose. I'll give you the prime example, right? I might have said this on the episode before, but and I don't think my cousin will mind because it's the truth, and he's turned his life around. So I'm proud of him for that. But he was one of them, and I was around him every day. Every day, he was like my brother because my mom wasn't around, so she would just drop me off there, and I'd be there for however long.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what made him think that. Like, I don't know what made. This is a good question to ask him, but I don't know what made him want to make the decisions he was making when it came to uh, some of the things he was doing, like selling drugs, and because he
Right.
didn't need to, right? Most people they do it when they need to. At least for the people I know,
Mm.
but
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
so I didn't quite understand that. But when he did that, when he started getting into all that, that wasn't the path I was wanting to go. So I ended up making the decisions of like, I'm gonna fall back and do my own thing over here, which is, I chose my own path in that sense.
Right.
And I think it's probably because I know what it leads to, especially because my mom and
Mm.
the lifestyle we was brought up into. So,
So you think it's an
but I am.
experience?
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna ask, like, the experience piece, because you had some of that where you wasn't necessarily, and I noticed this a lot when I first moved out of my parents' house, is um how much your parents shelter you. And that's not even in a bad way. But like, you don't realize how crazy life is until you don't have any people like I shouldn't say shelter. Shelter's a bad word. Filter. It's like a filter, right? Because they carry so much weight that you never, ever, 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 ever realize until you got to go and get it on your own. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh shit. I'm not even just talking about from a financial burden. I'm talking about all the other bullshits of life. And then when I moved out, I'm like, who the fuck's telling me what to do? Right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I gotta, like, I know I gotta go to work, but outside of that, I got mad time. I was like Mary J. Blige. I was like, time on my hand. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was like. That's where
yeah,
I was
yeah,
at. But, um, yeah, man. But I think there's a part of me, and I appreciate you calling out, like, just handling the pressure. But the way I look at it is, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to have the pressure on you, because you
for
only
sure.
it's a privilege. My dad says it all the time. He always makes this analogy, but it's, you know when you play the game of Monopoly, everybody gets $200, and you start at go, right? For those who haven't played Monopoly, if you haven't played Monopoly, get out under the rock that you've been living underneath. Go make some friends. Um, but you start $200, start at go, make your way around. Well, some people start with everybody else. Start when the game starts. And some people start, you know, 3 hours into the game and start with the same $200 and start at go. And everybody's 3 hours into the game already. And they got all
Yeah.
the properties, they got the hotels, the houses. What's good? Even the brown spots, if you land on them, they're costing you $1 million. You know what I mean? Like that's how crazy shit's built up.
Yeah.
He's like, now it's really on you. It's on you. He's like, me and your mom, we joined the game 10 hours late with the $200 and starting on go. He's like, and hopefully what we did is so you and your brothers and your siblings started earlier than 10 hours. Even if it was 9.5 hours and not 10 hours late, he's like, then we did something. And then your kids start 9 hours. And then all that until we eventually get to everybody starting at the same time as everybody else that we would consider privileged or whatever. And so that's the way that I like to view it is, listen, man, it's a privilege to have the pressure on you. It
Oh,
really is.
that's a great analogy. I like that. I think I'm gonna use that. You know, even with Nove was like, so like I said, we have the best conversations when I bring her to work and stuff, and just when we're together, we talk a lot. And the the L for lessons, not losses, was one of the conversations we had, and
I
it
love
was
that.
I can see it resonate within her while we was having the conversation because she was upset and she felt like she made a bad decision that she lost in. But I'm like, it's not. As long as you learn from that and you change your ways and you don't make that mistake again, then it's not a loss. It's just
I love
something
that,
that's
bro.
it was necessary to happen. It was part of your path and your experience. Now you just learn from it and you grow from it.
You came up with that or you heard that somewhere?
No, I came up with that.
I love that, bro. That's wisdom. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, I know you just turned 30. Maybe when I turn 30 when I turn 30 in a couple of years, I'll get that wisdom. But uh but yeah, that's so fire. I'm gonna start taking that shit. I'm gonna start using that. Yeah, L
Yeah.
is not for loss, it's for lessons.
Yeah,
Because
take that.
it really is true. I mean, I always look at it as a failure is only when you give up. That's when you
Yep.
fail. You don't fail when you fall. You fall. You fell. You didn't fail. Now the question is, if you quit, then you failed. You gave up, right? Then you failed. When you get up, then it's almost like when you go to redo a test, right? Like you only fail if you got an F and you left it alone. But if you got a chance to redo the test and you got an A, then who remembers the F?
Yeah.
Only you do. You remember the
Exactly.
F. And don't
Yeah.
forget the F, right? Let that continue to fuel you. Turn the F to fuel instead of
Yeah.
failure and pick yourself back up again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Do you
I
ever
love
see
that.
that I gotta send you this it was a Brady interview and he his answer was unbelievable. Joe Rogan was like, "Did you see this?" But it was like, think about this, right? Who's the greatest quarterback of all time?
TB12.
And he said he it was because of the losses. It was those games that made him understand how to look at things different, how to change whatever opportunities were on the field and off the field, and how do you get better from those games? Like those games are the ones he remembers the most because they hurt the most, and that's where he knew how to get better for the next game. So it's like, and it's similar to what you said. Like, yeah, we remember some of his losses, but not like we remember his wins at this
Nah,
point.
bro. 28-3 is immortalized.
Yeah,
Immortalized, bro. But I'm curious because I wanna and you could wrap the show on this because we've been going for a while. But I wanna ask you this because um in a professionally and personally, I haven't seen you. That's not. I shouldn't say I haven't seen you, but I haven't seen you handle things like, for example, what I'm trying to say is this: if you're going through something difficult, whether it's professionally, personally, if I didn't know you like how I know you, I wouldn't think anything's wrong
yeah,
because you don't wear it,
yeah,
right? It's not. You don't bring whatever's at home into work and vice versa, right? Can't can't really tell, right? You'll share, if it's something that you want to talk about, or if because I know you, right? I might say just like how you know me, or you're like,
Yeah,
yo, son, I could tell something's going on. What is it? But if I didn't know you, I wouldn't be able to tell. And I think part of that is the entire time I've known you from a professional standpoint, even personal, I've only seen you grow. But professionally, you've always done very well, very well. And I'm not sure if that's been like if that was early in your career and it's just been a constant that you've always been really good. I mean, so like a Tom Brady, because I was going to mention what you're saying, like he didn't lose much, so he has plenty of time to reflect on the times that he lost because there was not many times.
yeah.
So, and now even when you're wearing that Washington hat, so 360 segue, all kinds of shit. This is what we do. Is when you have that success so early, like so much success so early. Um, how do you? How difficult is it to respond or deal with the L for lesson and not look at it as a loss when you've had so much of this? I'm winning. I'm coming up. I'm doing better than I
I
was.
love
I'm
this question.
how do you deal and turn the loss into a lesson?
So I love this question. In fact, this is the opportunity. So this is the reason why I even believe in the statement that I made with lessons over losses. Is you know, early in my career, I was cooking. Like you couldn't tell me nothing. Number one, I just making tons of money. Like on the high road to moving up. Like just a lot of great things. Oh, sorry. I feel like I should just down this and just call it a day.
For
Oh
a bad
no, but
idea.
my greatest lesson, especially professionally, was I got promoted shortly after they closed the whole store down and everybody lost their jobs, including me. And at the time, I took it as a loss. I'm like, yo, I'm doing all this. I've been doing all this for this company. Like it was like a smack in the face. And two things came out of it. One is I got to do a lot of things with Nove that I'll never forget. Like took her to Disney World, Universal Studios, her favorite Gatorland. Like, so I got to spend time because I would never take vacations back then.
Right, right,
So that's one. Two is I got to really reflect. Like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? What opportunities did I have? Because I had an ego back then, especially because I had so much success.
right.
So the moment, the moment, sorry, yeah.
Got
So
his inhaler.
the moment that the adversity came up, uh, I didn't deal with it the correct way at first. It was more like why, like you know what I mean, like
Why
almost
me?
like not taking accountability, like shit like that.
Right,
And then when I was able to reflect and be like, all right, I could have been better here, could have been better here. I was a great salesperson, but I wasn't quite the leader that I needed to be yet. So maybe if I take a class here or if I learn from someone here, I can improve. Uh, and that's ultimately what happened. And that was the biggest lesson because it humbled me. It humbled me in saying, no matter how good I may have thought I wasn't as good as they thought I was. So how do I make that change? How do I make it so that they see what I'm doing as opposed to just me understanding all of the shit I'm doing behind the scenes?
right.
Um, so yeah, I think that might have answered your question. Whereas, how do I deal with uh, what was your actual question? How do I deal with
Yeah. No, you
the
answered it. It was
adversity
just
piece?
yeah, it was just when you have that early success, like a Tom
Oh,
Brady,
yeah,
Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, or even a lot of people who start off strong in their careers, right? And it's like you just winning, winning, winning. And then you hit that shit that just humbles you. Is how
yeah,
do you not look at it as a loss and look at it as a lesson? It's always like my kids aren't old enough yet at this point, right? They're only 4 and 2, but like you have a daughter that's pretty much an adult. It's like I'm wondering if she's feeling the same things that I'm feeling. It took me till I mean, I'm 28 now and I'm still realizing some of this shit to be like, yo, my parents were people before they were parents. And they still are people. But becoming a parent changes everything in your life. But like they were people, just like I'm a person. And so like like that's why I said the pressure is a privilege, because I have pressure for completely different reasons of why my parents had pressure, and it's not life or death pressure like it was with them, like it was with you, right? It's not make it to tomorrow pressure. It's like making sure that I save enough for my kids' college fund. Like I'm in a position where I'm blessed enough to feel that kind of pressure. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
not worry about the roof over the head or if they're gonna have a meal on the plate. It's like, are they gonna be able to afford whatever the fuck college is gonna cost when they turn 18? Am I gonna
yeah.
be able to put enough in this college fund for them? Are they gonna have to take on some student loans like their dad did, right? Like that. And that's why it's a privilege to be in the situation where I'm at. When I say that to people listening, it's not because I don't appreciate the situation. It's the fact that the pressure is different pressure because of the sacrifices that the generation before me made. And so because they were brave enough to break the cycle where I wasn't the one that was had to break it, I just had to be like, let me not go back to what the cycle was. I got to stay off it, but I have a model I could follow. So
Oh,
pressure
it's
is a
really
good
good.
thing. But L's, man, that shit is you should trademark that shit, bro. Hurry. Before I put the podcast out on Monday next week. Trademark that. L's
Where do I
is
go to
real
trademark that?
blessings.
I'm doing that.
I have no clue. I'm just saying that shit is gold.
Yeah, I like that saying. I've been using it for a little bit of time now. Yeah, man, it's good talking to you. Appreciate talking to you like always, Matt. And for the listeners, as always, think critically, speak infamously. We out.
We out.